over there. Put this over to there. What the hell? We better not be doing something. That better not be doing something. That sounds very old-timey, doesn't it? I suppose I am getting to an old-timey style age, aren't I? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Dr. Phil here. I've been off a little bit recently. Had a lot of stuff going on in life. You don't need to worry about all the life stuff because you're here to look at opals, probably, anyway. Or maybe you're just here to wonder what this is. All is good. Remember to like and subscribe. I don't know why I said it that way. Oh, hello, likey person. I'm going to say Opal guy. No. It's Cindy. Hello, how you doing? Sorry to mistake you for Opal guy. My South African accent's terrible too, if I remember correctly. That's where you're from. Right. Well, it's your lucky night because basically I've gotten 2 consignments of opals, 2 kilos each. So that's what? 4 pounds of opal. Now, not every single opal, of course, is a winner. Oh, I'm all right. We've been reflecting on life in general. My father is quite ill at the moment, and well, it's given me cause for reflection. We'll leave it at that. I don't want to put everything on a downer. So let me see. Well, just turn this on. Life gives you lemons, but at least we can cut opals. Maybe that's what we can say. I don't know. There we go. So what I can do is I can show you the kinds of delights that are available. Can't be helped, I'm afraid. So we just get on with it, I suppose. As you can see, nice pretty little stone. Thanks for your concern, by the way. I'm not trying to dismiss it. I'm just trying to... I've had enough of, being down and out about these sorts of things. So, yeah. There. You can see there, nice bit of colour there. Now, that could be the result of a crack or something. I'll give you a few to look at because, like, I've literally got dozens of these bad boys now. So we can see, you can... Yeah. Incidentally, I'm not, worried about discussing it. I'm just, like, not trying to make everybody else's life miserable. This is the, this is a nice little opal here. And you can see, like, you get the general impression. This just keeps going. Keeps going and going and going. Just keep giving you nice little opals. I might even turn on the enhance button. Retouch. There you go. Retouch is on. Look at that. Beautiful. Sorry, I was thinking about it. My life is going like one of them country and western songs at the moment. So, this is a meant to be opal, by the way. Beautiful little thing. There we go. Nice thing. So what we'll do is we'll just start the wheel going and we'll see what happens. What could possibly go wrong, as they say? Let's give this guy a bit of a drill. Why am I not getting the same kind of lighting experience that we normally get? There we go. Hopefully that'll do it. Thank you for the Opal complimentation. One of the interesting things is that this entire experience has meant that our family has decided to have a giant family reunion. We've got some friends coming from Ireland, actually some family coming from Ireland. And I've been meaning to hand some opals over, so maybe one of these is going to go back to Ireland, to Ochre and Clocher. Now sometimes Cooper Pedy surprises you with a matrix opal, which means you're left in the interesting position of going, do I actually have to treat the opal, or at least treat it differently? We will see if this is one of those situations. What I'm guessing is that this is actually a shell opal, which I have now completely cut beyond recognition. Although I don't like cutting shells, this one was particularly attractive. And I'm somewhat circumspect about the whole situation. If I see a good fossil, I tend not to cut it. This one didn't look like particularly good fossil material. Although I'm not a paleontologist, so I don't know that for sure. But if it wasn't for that fact that Cooper Pedy was a place where opals happen to be, then people wouldn't be digging these up anyway. So there has to be a certain amount of shiny that happens as a result of all of this. Now how's that for a good justification? So what we've got here is classic. How much sand is too much sand? Just making a decision here. I may actually might cut it across here, and that will leave us with a stone. Almost invariably you do this and it's like, oh, look at that. Could have cut it straight through, no problem. Actually, more often than not, it's the right call, not the wrong one. As it, lots of people have been having fun with these Epstein files things. With all these powerful business people who are doing all sorts of awful things. Naturally, it's Prince Andrew who gets in trouble. Have a look. So I don't think there's anything left here. I'm just going to carve this off here to see if we've got anything. Either way, it looks like this is a good call. Let's have a look on this side. Yep, looks like that was all there was to it. So I'll just quickly make sure. I'll give it a powerful light look, and then we'll get the other piece out and see what it looks like. Okay, all is not done with this one. I'll just give this one a bit of an angled look and see if we can actually get to the opal. Is it because it's facing incorrectly that we're not getting really good opal? Or is it something else? You'll never know. Considering we've got so many more opals, this is probably one that I'll work on later when I'm running out of things to do. Because it's alright, but there's very little opal that's actually sitting there. This, on the other hand, is blurry. It's not blurry, but you can't see the colour. There's the colour. Right, now I'm just going to have to put my fingerprints off it. Back in we go. That's looking rather brittle there, isn't it? There are a definite few worrying parts to this opal, but what I can do is I can inspect it in the morning, so I don't necessarily have to make all the decisions tonight. Not to mention the fact that it seems to have just come good. I think as long as I keep it on this tack, it should be fine. juicy carrot weight, but you can't have cracks in it, so that's just part of the territory. There we go. I see what you mean. Ah, there we go. Now pay attention over here, over here, over here. Hello. Okay. I just put a smear on it again. Clever me. Trying to give you that beautiful opal shot and got nothing and just smeared the camera again. There we go. See a little bit. I'll do some shots afterwards. Right. This one looks pretty quick and easy. Okay, so do I cut this one or do I just grind it very thin? He's not fat, he's really very thin. Okay, this is definitely doublet material, but it's nice nonetheless. I might even drop that up as a crystal. Not bad, would it? But we got better ones to do. Let's try this guy. Now this could well be a crack, but we're going to presume it's not. First things first, temp fate. Once again, this could well be another shell. Well, if that's a crack, I reckon more should crack, because look at this. what you'll find is this is not so much a crack. No, is it still got water on it? I think this is a previous message, but I'll just pop that on anyway. There we go. Hopefully that's fixed it. So, yeah, as I was saying, there is still evidence that, yeah, basically sometimes Opal is challenging to discuss. Usually people talk about spheres, and I don't want to go away from the whole spheres discussion because I think that a sphere is a far more attractive marketing term than a crack. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes cracks fill up with silica, and the refractive index shifts or the thin film interference or the other things that actually occur are what are the major causes of the optical effects rather than the standard story of the spheres. Having said that, this opal here is what we would call well, I'm going to call it a sphere opal because it's got the classic shiny, milky look to it, which is reminiscent of pearlescent paint, if you know what that is. Now, some people say that opals have a crack, but this one is an absolute cracker, really. It's a beautiful one. See that. I'm going to try and get, oh, thank you. I'm going to try and get this colour out. If we point it this way, it should be a bit better. You can see that. Mostly it's sitting on that layer there on the kernel, and it's where you earn your money, I suppose, because opals are just not even things. Now, what I've noticed with some of these opals is that you do okay the first time around, but you should give it a rest and do it a second time around another night. And sometimes, I don't know what it is, doing it the second time actually steadies the shape up a bit. I think it's a second perspective. I can do a few other things. It might even come good this way around. I mean, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with it. Just that I know that if you give it a bit of a break, you can tend to cut it better. Just having a look at the... What I can do though is just carve it down that way a bit, and then carve it that way a bit. What I'm doing is I'm just reorienting the opal to the actual horizontation. I mean the oh, I don't know. It's called. I'm trying to figure out what the actual word is that people use rather than the words that I use, because sometimes the words I use aren't the words that people use. I come from a soil science background. Oh, okay, that's okay. You do what you need to do. It's all good. Coming out that side a lot better. Oh, hello there. I'm doing all right. Life sometimes gets you down. What I'm doing is I'm saying to myself, this gem needs to rest for a little bit before I cut it again. There are a few issues that should be solved, but sometimes you just leave it alone and then inspiration comes to you. So I'm going to leave that one. As fun as it is to bugger up a stone on national television, or what do we call this nowadays? Doesn't look like we've got much there, so I might go and find another stone. Just so you know, I've got dozens of these bad boys now because I've got 2 consignments in. I'll have a crack with this one. Not much you can do when life just well, it's life, and the way I like to think about it is, if you don't have the hard times, then you don't appreciate the good ones. We can go all philosophical, can't we? We can go, if we don't cut away all the bad stuff, the opal will never look as good as it always is. Something like that. We can translate that into some kind of wise Confucius-style statement. Just come down off the mountain. Oh, wow. Yeah, is it fluffy? Usually it's pretty good. You don't have to worry. Or are we talking about the other end? PTSD is not fun, incidentally. Funny thing that we talk about all the time, by the way, mate, is we call it plastic deformation. But that's nothing like what you're talking about. What I might have to do is what I can do is I can check out something called the ASC, and that gives you pretty much all soil classifications and all implications, shall we say. A mate of mine, nah, I won't talk about that. But yeah, there's sometimes good and bad things that can happen with various soil types. Okay, so what I've discovered when you yeah, I could do that. What I think you'll find is that life tends to be okay. That's the best way of describing it. But yeah, we can discuss the specifics later. Now, I'm certainly not a critic of anybody else, but what happens is that there's some Opal people who just carve around the outside for a little while and then go, I'm going in. And that's fine. I doubt this is the sort of Opal you do that with, because there's a layer on top which looks rather fragile and means you're going in early. This one might be a lightning ridge stone. Remember, they're sold purely on their colour, not the provenance. Well, not usually anyway. This is clearly not a black opal. It can only qualify as a dark, I suppose. Yeah, I end up just going straight to round kind of cuts. I don't know why. I think after a certain amount of time you just end up doing it. Maybe I lack imagination. What I might point out is even when I say the self-depreciating stuff, I'm not really that worried about my own psychological well-being. I'm doing all right. So don't ever worry about me going, oh, he's clearly not liking who he is. I love who I am. I'm going the other side because I think that's the quicker way to get there. And there's all this junk in the way too. There it is. Well, imagine this, I had all these stones ready to go and I still had lots of stuff to do. Looking after kids, house was a mess, the birds are doing their thing. So I really couldn't do much. A bit annoying, but what can you do? Come on, get off there. One of those times when you realise you totally should have cut it. That's alright. Hopefully this will end up okay. Look at that. Beautiful. Look, hang on. Eventually you'll be able to see it. So that's a beauty. It's just got a bit of discoloration. That once was actually the intersection between the muscle and the outside world, I suppose. So what I'll do is I'll just cut that stone with that in there as a known defect. Still a nice stone. There you go, what a beauty. What else have we got in my little bag of fun? This one will be way more challenging. I think it's about time to do one that's difficult to cut. Let's wipe the screen down. I don't know where you're doing, but I'm doing pretty well. There we go. What I can see pretty much instantly from this particular chunk is that I'm going to have to cut it at an angle. This needs to be faced. This is also a lightning ridge stone for sure. There's that crack which most of them have. When you're buying super cheap material, what you are doing is you are making a bet against the vendor. You're saying, I can cut better than you. So it's quite an arrogant statement. But sometimes they just don't have the time to go through the minutiae. So it's not always a bet. A lot of the time it is. So what I can do I can tell you now that I can get through that layer relatively unscathed. Will it produce a stone? Possibly. That doesn't have an option for lightning ridge stones. The top just went flying. Okay, so I'm not gonna, I'll show you the rock, but it's just got slight glow. It's got what I would call the spheroid opalescence, I suppose. There you go. Nothing to write home about, but it's certainly not bad considering the price I got the material. He now dives deeper into his... okay, let's do the meant to be. So, the thing about meant to be stones is cut quick or die, basically. They're unstable. There's sand on top, there's sand on bottom. You've got to get rid of both of them before the whole thing collapses. So let's see what we can do. So no exploded today. For those of you who are old enough, my brother just told me that Trogdor has turned 25. He has been burninating the countryside for 25 glorious years. Allegedly, Trogdor was a man. But he says, Trogdor! What I might do is I might not continue too much with that one, or try dopping it up, but it's okay, but I've got plenty of better ones, so I'll just move this one on. See how this one goes. Slightly smaller, probably Coon Petey, although it does have certain lightning ridge style aspects to it. A lot of iron oxide. That tells me this opal was actually stored in a rusty garden shed for quite some time. Yes, opals can pick up materials, even if people say they're indestructible. They're hydrated silica, and there are versions of opal that can get water damage, yes. Not this one. Once again, it's okay, but I'm not going to pursue it because I've got plenty more to do. I'm not in a hurry, I'm just trying to find some nice good stones to bling bling shine bling bling with you. Hopefully this one's got something right in the middle. If not, it'll go the way of the other ones. what you got. Let's see what you got. There is still opal in him. I have felt it. Are you sure? Okay, there is a slight amount of colour. I'm just going to give it a bit of a zhooshing, just to see if I can bring that colour out. But if not, we're moving on. I knew this one would be a bit more of a risk, not a risk than the other ones. So I'm not upset with it. That seems to be coming out of the heart shape too, which would be kind of handy. What have we got? Very slight amount of colour, could be crack induced, so I'm not going to, yeah, it's got cracks in it, so we're not going to pursue that. Guy will be pursued. We're coming up in 47 minutes, so, whoop. No one saw that, don't worry. Now this one's a pure beady stone, and I always check out the orange caps because for whatever reason they tend to have a bit of colour in. So we've had 3 in a row. One's cracked all the way through. Can't do that one. I'm not worried. Just a bit annoyed. There we go. This one should work. I'll show you why. There we go. Have a look in there. Oh yeah. Don't think you can see anything. Well done, me. You do your thing, mate. Have a good night, man. I'm only going to be another 10 minutes anyway. Nighty-night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Or anything else really. Vampires, they're hard. We seem to get rid of that layer on the bottom and we've got ourselves a nice little opal. Now that is a sight for sore eyes. Have a look, we've got a nice piece of colour just on the corner over here. Right near the root of thing here. Right, let's have a look at him. I'm going to have a look under the big light because there's stuff to like and stuff to not like about this one. Interesting. So I'll try cutting it from this side. And that was the right call. Okay, good. Now hopefully if I'm cautious with this one, this might actually be a good one. I'm just going to wipe this down so I can see it. Don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to see. I can see clearly now the tank is white. There was always opal dust in my way. Even though I change the angle of my cutting tool, it's gonna be quite foggy inside a hood. Look all around you, there's nothing but blue sky. Come on. Oh, two people seem to like that. There we go. I was a busker back in the day. I never really trusted my voice though. I just played guitar, did guitar-y things. Right, there we go. Look, try from here. I may have to describe it because it's not focusing. And it's not shining. Should be at least something. Gee, there you go. So one tiny little flash. Whoop-de-doo-dah. And then it's out of focus. Just saw it just down in there. What a stubborn little opal you are. You therefore do not have the right to be the magnum opal. It's only got 55 out buttons left. So that was a crack, and I'm not pursuing it any further. Gonna have a quick look at one of these ones. I'll try and make them Opal from this side, because that's where the cool ones are. Maybe that one, maybe that one. Maybe that one. Yeah, what are you? You're 100% risk, not at this time. You. Oh, look at you. You're beautiful. Okay. Perhaps you. Oh, perhaps you. Look at that. That one, I might spend a bit more time on it, because that's going to take a lot of effort. This one. Let's have a quick look at this bit. Oh, look at that. Now there's a bit of cracking in here, so this is not necessarily a fait accompli, but not bad. This wheel's going to give up very soon. Okay, I'll dot that one up. Not perfect, but it's got an awful lot of good positive attributes that you totally can't see. Just decide between these two. This is a good one already. What's this guy doing? I've made my decision. This guy's going, and this guy is getting cut. Let me show you a few of its features. You can see that there's actually a nice blue band going through there. Let's see if we can get it. Now, I'm rounding off the sides first just to make sure that I don't crack the stone. In case you were wondering what I was up to. Right, it's been an hour, so this is the last stone. Oh, look at that. I'll show you in a second. It's looking pretty good. See that nice blue that's sitting there? Try and get it happening here too. It's not bad being spoiled for choice as to where to go in. Just having a look on here. Wow. Right, we've got our mojo back. We've got to take this corner off. Okay, so it's this side that we need to do, and it's definitely getting there. Like that. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. That one, I'll show it to you. Still got to work on it, but this is the sort of moment where you just stop and reevaluate. Zooming in. Beautiful colour there. It's also got a bit of colour underneath, but it's got some oxide layers as well, and there's some cracking that's potentially in there too. So I'm trying to be very conservative about how I do this. What I think I might have to do is cut off that oxide layer there. But that's the time discussion for another day. Yeah, I haven't shaved in ages. Thanks for enduring the stream with me. It was a pleasure. 6 likes is brilliant, so thank you very much. I have been Dr. Phil, and I'm exhausted, so Dr. Phil out. Oh.